believers. How you guys doing today? Huh? You punks? This is Seanorama here calling. Wow. This is Seanorama. How you guys doing today? Today, I want to talk about a couple of movie-related items. Movie, entertainment, that sort of thing. So, something that my wife and I do is, and as we all do, is we get stuck into this rut of binge watching. And we've come to a realization. Currently, just to give props out there, we're currently watching a show called Uncle. It's BBC or it's something British anyway. I'm not sure if it's actually BBC or not, but it's a very good show. We're actually quite enjoying it. It's good. And what we find in this era of binge watching is that we can't really binge watch this show. We can watch, maybe 2 episodes or 3 episodes, but beyond that, we're not really binge watching this show, and there's a reason for it. What I'm finding is that this show is too good to binge watch. Now, what the heck does that mean? Too good to binge watch? Isn't that kind of the opposite of good? No. And let me explain it to you here. On a show like Uncle, and if you don't know anything about it, I'll just kind of give you a quick what the show's about here. But it's a dark comedy about this uncle who basically has to come in and be a bit of a caregiver to his nephew, because his mom is a recovering addict. Yeah, sounds like a comedy to you, doesn't it? But anyway, so in the initial episodes, the uncle is a big screw up. He's a guy that never grew up. He's still trying to make it as a musician. Still, smokes up all the time. Never really holds a job down. Still holding out for that rock and roll dream. Basically that's who this guy is. So, and he's the one that's got to look after the nephew, and not all the time. Basically, he's helping his sister out with her son, and her son's really really weird and really awkward and all this stuff. So, anyway, with a show like this, yeah, you can binge watch a few episodes, and particularly you can binge watch the episodes that kind of focus on the comedy aspect of how pathetic this uncle is. And how crazy the situation is. And you can have some fun. You can definitely have some fun with this show and watch a few episodes back to back. But I think we're on season 3 right now. They've had some heavy episodes in there. And the heavy episodes really are focusing on, okay, yes, we've got this really weird situation. Mom is a recovering addict. And uncle, who's basically a screw-up, is going to help a recovering addict with the raising of her son. There's a lot of darkness in there, but there's a lot of comedy in there too. But invariably within this series, there's moments where, you know what, this isn't being played for laughs. This is being entirely serious. And yes, there's still jokes in there, but the weighty issues that come up on this show are so weighty that you can't laugh it up, and you can't just go to the next episode to clean your palate, if you will. You really have to take a step back and absorb what you just watched. And my wife and I, what we do is we talk about it. Like, we determine there's episodes where, we're done. We're not watching anymore. We have to sit back, let this sink in, think about it, and actually maybe talk it out, like you would after watching a good movie. It's the same scenario. So I think binge watching something, so basically powering through and, wow, that was a weighty episode, I want to get to the next one, and not giving it time to breathe, sometimes I don't think you should be binge watching. If you're just powering through the episodes just to get through them and not enjoying the episode for what it is on its own, entirely on its own, outside of the entire series, sometimes you really got to take that moment to absorb that episode and let it sink in and let you think. Because good entertainment will make you laugh, will make you think, will make you cry, will, and make you think, I guess, is the big one, really. So, binge watching, yes, it's fun. It can be awesome. And there's some shows you can just binge watch. But, I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of show you're watching. Some shows really have episodes where you really have to take a step back if you want to fully enjoy what that episode was about. So, for example, in the Uncle episode, I'm not going to tell you which one it is, but if you've been watching the series, I think you can easily point out those weighty episodes that you really need to let sink in. I think you need to take the time to breathe, and I think if you're thoroughly going to enjoy the series, I think it's very important to enjoy the moments within the series where you got to step back and go, wow. So that's my diatribe about binge watching. So what else do I want to talk about? I had 3 topics. I had them memorized so I wouldn't be referring to shit. Wow, this is interesting. The lady behind me is singing her butt off. That's generally me. Not only is she singing, she's also dancing in her vehicle. What she's listening to is obviously awesome. Must be listening to a dome track, an unreleased dome track that people haven't heard, and she somehow finagled getting it within her vehicle and cranking it at the top volume in her vehicle. Good on her. Way to support Dome. Damn it, what were my other freaking topics? Okay, let me just think this through here. I apologize. I should be better prepared, but my memory sucks. Oh, okay, yeah, here's the other big topic I wanted to cover. And this is kind of an interesting one. This is really, every summer this comes up. So you get movies that are quote-unquote flops. You get movies that are quote-unquote successes. But the one thing that just really bugs me, and I really want to talk about, is the box office return on a movie. And the talk always goes this way. Oh, what a disappointing opening weekend. This movie's going to be a flop. It's not going to make its money back, etc., etc., etc. But it's still talked about provincially. I like to call it provincially, or regionally, I guess I should say. They're looking at the American box office. They're not looking at the worldwide box office. They're determining that this movie sucks. This movie's no good. This movie is not a success. Wow, I hate when this happens. I'm back. Sorry about that musical interlude. I'm having an issue with my headphones here. So anyway, as I was saying, people keep talking about the domestic box office on a movie. And I can understand the movie is made in the USA. You're interested in the numbers, domestically. But if you're talking about a company that makes widgets, and they're Canadian. Okay, let's really look at it this way. You're a Canadian company that makes widgets. Your market within Canada is X. So maybe, I don't know, we'll say 25% of your sales are generated within Canada. Now you also have a large market in the US. So in the US, you're selling widgets to an American market, and let's say 50% of your sales are from the US. All right. So now let's look at the other half. So that's 50%, 25%, we're talking about 75% of your market is within Canada and the US, but 25% of that's within Canada. You're a Canadian company. 25% of your sales are coming from overseas. Significant, right? So that makes up your 100%. Now, when you're talking about sales, are you, in your Canadian company, are you going, oh, sales really tanked last year? In Canada, where we sell 25% of our widgets, in Canada, we were hoping to have sales of $12 million last year, and we only really came in, we came in at 8 million in sales. We were expecting 12, but we only get 8 million in sales. So it was really bad year for the company. Meanwhile, in Europe, or overseas, I should say, your sales, you're expecting, so for let's say 25%, so you're expecting your sales to be at about 12 million, and your sales kicked in at 20 million. And then on the US side, which is 50% of your sales, you were hoping to have, let's do the math. So I don't know. The math is going to be off, and I really apologize, but you're expecting your sales to be at 10, 20 times 5 times 10. So you're expecting your sales to be at about 50 mil. And your sales were at 65 million that year. All right. But you are going to say that your widgets sold poorly this year because your sales in Canada weren't quite where you wanted them to be. Overall, your company has made a crap ton of money because your take was really good internationally, as in overseas, and very good internationally, as in on the US market. And on movies, we're still talking regionally when we talk about box office. So, okay, Transformers, the new one came out, and yeah, it's not doing as well domestically, i.e. US, as the previous film did. But your international box office on there is ridiculously doing really well and making a crap ton of money. Now, I understand in movie grosses that movie grosses are No, I don't understand. This actually makes no sense to me. I'm trying to put the numbers together in my head, and this just doesn't make any sense. So, 75% of the take for Transformers is they're going to say 75% of the take is going to come internationally. 25% of their take is going to come domestically, i.e. US. And the box office on Transformers internationally is higher than it was in the last one, for example. Let's say that's the way it's going. So every Transformers movie has made like $1 billion. And I'm not exaggerating. $1 billion, billion plus, right? So if this movie, so 1.2 billion the last one made. I'm just throwing a figure out there. I don't know if that's accurate or not. And it's not really that relevant, but the last movie made $1.2 billion. All right, this movie is going to make about $1.1 billion, with 75% of those grosses coming from overseas. But this movie failed domestically, is what they say. How is it a failure domestically? Yes, the grosses are down from last time, but maybe this movie had a better international marketing campaign, had better international everything. Like, everything was really sold and really had a more international view. And why wouldn't you? If you, on the last movie, if you made $1.2 billion, and of that $1.2 billion, most of it, so 75% of it, or 65% of it was international, wouldn't you be pushing really hard on that international market to cater to that market and to do everything you could to bring even more international interest in, especially when it's very apparent that this franchise is more popular internationally? Why wouldn't you cater to that international market? Yeah, you do want to make a bit more money domestically. Sure, you should. Yeah, why not? But what's pushing this franchise forward is the international come on it. So why are you not chasing that international come? Why aren't you going after it? Why? And they are. I mean, obviously they are. They're keeping these movies churning out because there's an international demand for it, and there's a less and less of a domestic demand for it. But why would you not continue to